set then, right?
We are.
Yep.
Cool. So, the day has worn on. The night has come. You've all gone to sleep. In the middle of the night, Kordak, there's a loud pounding on your door.
I would just wait. Does it do it again?
Yeah, a voice comes from the outside, and it says, Kordak, open up. And you recognize it, the voice of the mayor of the town. You know, you're familiar with him.
I do grab my mace, and I kind of open a door, and I have my mace like held up. Oh. Anyone else with you?
You see the mayor's attendant next to him, a small halfling man
All right,
with a notepad and a quill.
I'll lower the mace, but I'm still holding it.
Yeah, he kind of takes a step back. He's a human man, about 5.5 feet tall. His black hair is combed to the side, but you know him to be pretty serious about Basinpeak. You know, it's his baby, and he takes good care of the people. You've got respect for him, but you might not necessarily like him all that much. He says, Kordak, I am hearing tell of people who were down at the hog hole telling me that you were telling a story about some giant. Have you managed to piss off some giant? Should I be worried about my town?
Well, I don't know if I pissed him off.
What do you mean you don't know?
He was gonna eat me. I ran away.
He thinks about that. It's like, I guess it could have.
Guess if I was in his shoes, yep, I'd be mad.
I guess it's okay that you didn't want to be eaten.
Nope. That was not on my list of things to, not on my bucket list.
Well, did you at least cover your tracks?
No. I ran.
He's like,
I literally ran days to get here.
And he looks down at his attendant. His attendant just has kind of like slowly looks back up at him, and he looks down at you and he says, I've got to go. I have to get the town prepared for whatever might happen next. I've got to get the militia. I need your help. If you drew a giant,
more than a giant,
you will. What do you mean there's more than a giant?
Yeah. He had a whole clan of bugbears with him. And a pit wolf.
Slow down. What
That's
in the Nine Hells is a bugbear?
Oh, actually, yeah. Does Kordak know what bugbears are?
He does.
Okay.
Where giant?
Oh. Where giant? Bugbears are big, mean things. About, well, I know I'm short, so I say bigger than you, broad, pack a mean punch.
He's like, I've heard all I need to hear. I'm putting the town on full alert. And by the way, side note, I don't know if quoting something from the Nine Hells is a reference to a intellectual property or whatever. What's that from? Is that like a D&D thing?
Which thing?
It's a D&D thing that's open source. You're fine.
Okay. Oh, no, I wasn't worried about that. I could care less about the actual legality of it, but I was just curious because we're not in a D&D setting, to be specific.
Oh.
So he might not have said the Nine Hells, but I was just saying it. Anyways, back to this. So, yeah, he just kind of storms off, and as he does, he shouts back at you. He says, I better see you down in my office first thing in the morning.
Aye.
And then unless you
choose say aye.
Yeah, unless you choose to do anything else, the rest of the night goes on without a hitch.
No, but since he said that, I will purposely wake up earlier so I can I don't know. I need a lot of time to pray.
Yeah, Findeli and Ire, you can hear Kordak. He's not particularly quiet in his room. He's loud getting his stuff about, and he wakes you guys up pretty early as well.
Well, the prayers probably also goes between muttering and yelling.
Another one.
There's the Lord.
I stayed up late learning new spells, and now you're fucking yelling.
Nice.
Caius will grant me power.
I'm seriously considering for
This
like
goes on like
5
that.
minutes. Like for 5 minutes in the bed, I'm seriously considering I could test that new fireball spell out.
And I think at that point you would hear a knock on your door.
You have a flame tickling in between your fingers as you.
No one would ever know.
Burn down the whole inn.
Mainly because everyone would be dead. This one, no one would ever know.
Yeah, there's a rapping at your door, Findeli.
Not a very loud one, just like a little bit.
Hello? Oh, morning.
And like I'm kind of holding my head like this a little bit and be like, well, I assume that it is like daytime now and the sun is up and all that. Is that right?
When you look out, you are surprised to see that it isn't daytime yet.
Oh, okay.
The sun has begun to crest, and there's a nice pinkish red.
This is like before normal wake up time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be like,
Probably woke up the whole inn.
well, no, I would look to Findeli and I would say, sometimes I will admit my faith is tested. And then I would say to him, do you have any more of that wine, or did you finish it all last night?
I would kind of like, and I like go to my bed, and I throw a couple bottles around, and there's like an empty ale bottle, and it's like, oh, and I pull out the wine bottle, and there's like a fifth of it left. I just kind of like toss it at you. Here you go.
All right. And I would still manage to deftly catch it, and then I kind of drink it down a little bit, and I'd be like, it's good to know that even in these lands, the customs of our people still hold. As my head clears a little bit, and I'm like, now let's go stop that fool before he angers the townsfolk.
Oh, good. And I like light a fire on my finger. Let's stop it.
And as you do that, I'm like, oh, what? That's new.
Oh, is that not what you meant?
No, I don't think that the Lord of Light works quite in that way.
Okay, and then I just like, okay.
Not
Yeah, that is new. Thank you for noticing.
Not with one of his chosen, but I am curious. You learned that from your book there.
Oh yes, the ancients have great power. I just need to learn how to read it.
How did you gain this power if you couldn't read it?
Well, I'm learning how to read the book as I go. The wine helped a lot, actually.
And I would just nod my head, just like taking that as fact. And then
We're gonna take the reins on this really quick. You guys hear the loud stomping of Kordak walk past your door room, and you kind of notice that, and you will be like, "Oh, well, okay, well, here we go. Let's see what's going on." And you'll follow him downstairs to a completely desolate hog hole. There's nobody here. Not even the inn owner is there. It is completely silent. And Kordak will inform you of the situation. Kordak, go ahead and...
Mayor's worried. Giant and bugbears. He's worried about the town. Woke me up in the middle of the night for that. He wanted to see me first thing. He's probably right about one thing. I probably pissed off this giant. But he's going to eat me. So I'm on my way to the mayor.
Well, good luck with that, friend, and why don't you meet us back here when you talk to the mayor and let us know what he says.
Okay, sounds good.
And then I would look over to Finn and I would be like, do you think there's any chance of getting breakfast before we inevitably have to go track down a giant?
I think if we hurry, we can.
Yes, I feel like it is best if you're going to die to at least die with a full belly.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I hate being your friend.
Hey, I make sure you're fed.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go get breakfast and some hair of the dog.
It's with your coin, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when you go down there, you've got no problem just scouring food for yourself. There's nobody there that's gonna charge you for anything. So you just kind of take it upon yourself to take what's already kind of been made and make a plate from it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and so, I would imagine we would have some breakfast and kind of wait, and hopefully Kordak will come back.
Yeah, Kordak, you go, you meet with the mayor. He wants you and your friends to assist the town in the defense of the town. He's fully convinced that there's a full-on assault coming towards Basinpeak, and it is his job and his duty to protect the town. So he's assembled the militia. When you get to the mayor's office, there's people running to and fro, donning armor, grabbing swords, grabbing maces, grabbing shields, the whole 9 yards. He has gathered 2d20 warriors. That's 5 and 6, 11. He's gathered only 11 warriors.
Better than 0.
This is true. And a few of them are in charge of. They have a few guard towers that one of them has a big ballista on it, and the other is simply for arrows and whatnot. And so they, 2 of the guards go and they take care of the preparations up there. Ire, as you are kind of in and out of consciousness, I think eating food, you're like kind of tired from the night, and you're just kind of eating it. It's so good. You're just kind of like, yeah, this is nice. You get this sensation in your mind, almost as though someone is trying to contact you telepathically. And you hear this voice kind of fade in a reverse kind of way, that effect like a ghost can have sometimes, into your mind, until it finally becomes clear, and it says, don't kill him, my husband. And you see a clear picture of a bugbear wearing a shamanic garb, traveling beside other beings that are too blurry to make out. And then you hear the voice again. It's clearly a woman's voice. And she says, "You know me." And then the image fades away and the dark image of the cave comes back, and you see this woman again wearing that headdress. And she says, "Please, you cannot defeat the giant without my help. Come back to the cave. We will help you." And then it goes silent.
And I think maybe as this was happening, maybe my eyes kind of glazed over or something, or I was, it would visibly be something different about me. And then I think I would come back and I would stand up and I would go over to wherever there might be some ale or some wine or something, presuming I don't have to go down into a cellar to get it. And if there was any wine, I think I would, uncork the bottle and not even bother with a glass, just kind of drink a little bit right from the bottle, and just sit back down at the table, not really saying anything, kind of contemplating this, because I've had voices speak to me in my head before, but it has always been one that I've known, and it has always been there to give me guidance. And this is new because I've never had someone other than who I presume to be my God, the Lord of Light, speak to me. And so I'm a little unnerved by the whole thing. Plus, it's hard to let go of the cultural prejudices of my people, and the idea of a bugbear touching my mind like that.
Yeah, throughout the conversation, or rather the talking, there was clearly a sense of flames, and like you could almost see her through this shamanic practice that she was performing at some campsite near the cave that you were at.
Yeah, and then I think maybe like as that's happening, I look out the window and the sun is just coming up above the horizon, and it that it's like that thing where like it comes up just enough that it hits right through the window and hits you right in the eye. And so I look at that and I say, and then I kind of squint and look over to Findeli and I say, the Lord of Light has illumined our path, but I fear those words you spoke before about sometimes hating to be my friend. I fear you will speak them again before the day is out. And then I would tell him, your instincts about the giant are probably correct. However, I do believe that we must do what we can to further help this town, but we can't do so without help, and I do not believe the warriors of this town will journey with us. I suspect they will stay here to defend. However, perhaps those bugbears that we met in the cave might be willing to assist us. They seemed grateful of our assistance earlier, and since we did save their people, perhaps they owe us a favor. Maybe we call on them.
You want to call them bugbears? Oh, your god has strange ways. Alright. I'll help you, sure. Better than if I say no, you'll go by yourself. I can't have that. So.
And I would say,
well, yeah, a loudmouth dwarf.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say, do you think the dwarf would come with us? I suspect he will.
As you say that, Kordak has opened the door back to the hog hole after being asked by the mayor to essentially assist with the menial tasks of all of the guards at this point in time.
So I open the door kind of dramatically. Step in. Well, you're up now. Oh, Mayor. It's me and you two to help defend this town here. He fears some type of counterattack is coming. I'm not big on guard duty, but this is my home at the moment. So.
And at that point, I would hold up the wine bottle, look at it, and then I would kind of hand it over to Kordak. And would he take it?
He would.
All right, and I would say,
kind of gives you narrows his eyes as he looks at you.
And I would say,
then I same at Findeli, look at narrow eyes. He does. Is it a full bottle or?
No, but it's probably more than half full.
Right. So he downs almost all of it. Not bad. Not bad. Stick with me, Aldo. And I give it back.
And with that, I where I was sort of looking nervous and a little bit, apprehensive when he does that. Big smile on my face, and I go up to him and I say, "The Lord of Light has provided us a way, but I fear it is one of those things that will test our faith and our obedience to him."
Well, guys definitely spoke to me this morning.
And then I say, he may have spoken to me too. I received a vision, perhaps? I don't know, but we need to return to the Bugbear Cave. The female, the one with the headdress, she will be able to help us.
Help us? She was the one helping the giant.
I don't think she was. When we were in that cave, I fear that they were subjugated, and while I have no love for their kind, we cannot hope to defeat this giant by ourselves. Perhaps someone with a knowledge of his whereabouts, of his habits, might be able to provide it, even if nothing more than some intelligence. What could be the harm?
Oh. Not looking too much forward to going back to those caves.
I'm not
Did you
either.
say Caius gave you a vision?
One wreathed in flame. One that came with the dawn, yes.
So Kordak would hold his amulet at that point, and Dwarfen kind of like talk to says, "Is this true?"
So, Kordak, you've actually never been to the cave that they're referring to. You've been to the campsite.
Oh, that's right. I keep thinking it was a cave. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, you've been to the campsite.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Was at. But yeah, as far as what they're talking about, yeah.
So yeah, I'll take Emmy, and I'm like, "Is this true?
I would whisper,
You get a vision?
yes, it's
It's
true."
back there."
No, I wouldn't.
Actually, all that's happening is when he's saying, "Is that true?" I'm gonna take a couple steps back, and I'm gonna quietly and away from Kordak's eyes, cast ventriloquism.
Ah, I knew it. No, wasting one of your spells for the day, but it's worth it.
It's totally worth it. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Ventriloquism.
Oh
my
yeah, I didn't
gosh.
realize if it works that way or not. Let's find out. Where are the V's?
Here it is. Okay, so it allows you to cause your voice to sound from someplace else within range. For example, a dark alcove or statue. So you can make it emanate from this thing that he's clutching.
Nice. And it's literally, I'll change the pitch of my voice and stuff like that, and so I'm like way on the other side of the bar. Oh, of course it's true. Follow the elves. Obey their commands.
It's like, holy shit, what's happening?
This doesn't call for a save, but Kordak, I'm going to have you make a save versus spells.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this every morning to you.
Now I gotta get over the number, right?
Yeah, but I've increased it, so just let me know what you.
10.
Okay, yes.
My number anyway.
Number. You don't catch that this is not Caius emanating from your amulet.
Well, as it says, like, follow the elves, I kind of like look up, like. Just need to like grip it tighter. I'll walk up. spoken with Caius. It's plenty of...
He's like fully convinced.
Yeah.
I've spoken.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Nelly walks back. Oh, what did Caius say?
This is a good idea. Go to this cave.
Of course. It's
Caius
good.
spoke. I will listen.
And
And
Nelly's
with
got
that,
this big
it's-
smile. We gotta listen.
In the cinematic way, the scene kind of will quickly fade and then refade back into the three of you traveling into the in the wilderness to get back out to this cave. You make it to the cave. However, Ire, you get this sense that the woman that spoke with you telepathically didn't do it from within the cave. And in fact, when you look down, you can find a clear set of footprints, that lead off towards the right of the cave, off further into the woods. As you follow these foot tracks, we come to the camp that I sent you a map of. This camp, as you approach it, it's taking you about half a day, 3/4 of a day to get there. The light is beginning to dim, and you have gotten there. Of course, you didn't let the mayor know that you were going, because he would have been beside himself that you weren't actually helping with all of these little things he wanted you to do. And you arrive, and when you do, you see, if you look carefully, they're hidden. There are bugbears, women, children, and even a few what you could gander to be middle-aged to young adult male bugbears, all kind of hiding within the bushes and the trees along the camp as the dirt path enters into this camp. You can see a fire burning in the middle of the camp. There are a few smaller tents and one larger tent, and you see one woman bugbear standing there. And this whole situation is just kind of odd, because bugbears, as you know them, are this strange, like, half-breed between an orc and a hobgoblin. Like, that's the best way that you can think of it. They're wild-eyed, they're crazy, they live off the land, and they don't give a crap about anything. And the fact that there is a shamanic one here says to you that maybe they're a little bit more intelligent than you had initially thought. They're not just beasts, but they do have these deep tribal roots. And as you approach, she is standing there, and she speaks to you, Ire, in Goblinoid, because she knows that you speak it. And she says, "Akate," which you understand to be stop.
And I would.
And she looks over at Kordak, and she tilts her head. She says, and then she looks back to you, Ire, and she says, "The dwarf. He escaped."
And I shrug.
She just kind of does this, and then she refocuses herself. She says, "I contacted you. You saved my husband. He work for Zorvik. He no want to work for Zorvik, but he must. Zorvik kill us if he don't. My husband no magic. Not big voodoo, little voodoo. I make potion for Zorvik. Make him strong, powerful, unstoppable. But if you bring husband back to me, I give you potion that makes Zorvik weak. You kill Zorvik. No kill husband." And then when she says that, a teenage bugbear steps out from behind the larger tent and snarls at you. And she holds her hand back. Says, "You no kill husband. You promise."
And I would look to her and and speak in her language. We came and saved your people once before, which is not typical of my kind when we meet yours. But we did. You can trust me.
The young adult male that had stepped out has kind of faded back now, and she lowers her hand and she says she'll open up a little satchel on her side, and she'll hold up a potion. It's in a leather kind of a water. What are those called? The word is escaping me.
Like a water skin kind of
yes,
thing?
Water skin, thank you. She holds up a leather water skin. She says, this potion, all you need do, cover him in it. That all. And she'll walk forward slowly and hand it over to you.
And I would take it, and I would nod, and I would say, is your husband always in close proximity to this Zorvik?
Says, yes. You keep him close.
And do you think if he knows that we come to free him by your bidding, would he be likely to help us?
She takes a step back, and so to distance herself from you a little bit, and she says, husband is fighter. But he love too. If he see Zorvik no strong, he come home. Home.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, I would, speaking for my friends, I would say, the light has guided me here, and the light always chases away the darkness, and it will chase away the darkness this day. You have my word, I will bring your husband home.
She says, go.
And I would then kind of turn back, and I would look to Findeli and to Kordak, and I was very serious when I turned around, and then I put that big smile on my face. I'd be like, I hold up the potion. I'd be like, I told you I was lucky. And I would say, this is the key, and we pour this on the giant, and it'll make him weak, and then her husband will maybe help us, and we can defeat him.
Hold Miami like, guys provides.
I don't speak bugbear, so I didn't catch a lot of that. Her husband is with the giant, yeah?
Yes.
Would her husband be the guy who was torturing him for a couple days?
Who, our friend Kordak?
Yes.
Most likely.
Okay, as long as everyone's aware of that. All right.
I get the impression that when someone is subjugated by someone much more powerful than themselves, they do what they must to survive.
That's a fair point, friend. All right. And I pat you on the back and was like, okay, I guess you are pretty lucky. All right.
Actually, Nathan, was it the shaman that was like beating me?
So this kind of comes up in conversation, and we're assuming that this conversation is happening on your way back to Basinpeak, and your experience with that particular one was that he was a little less savage than the others. However, he was the one that had prepared you to burn. He was the one that drew the shamanic markings on you. He didn't actually ever physically abuse you, however. It was the other ones that did that. And they seemed to take quite a bit of pleasure in so doing.
But he was the one getting me ready for food.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the three of you make your way back to Basinpeak with this water skin filled with some strange, arcane, stinky liquid. And when you do finally return, it's the middle of the night. And you're able to get enough rest to regain one more hit point if you're not already back at full. Let me see.
Full now.
Let's say you arrive back at the village at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Another 6 hours pass. 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Kordak, you're probably awake, praying. Ire and Findeli, you're probably cursing at him. You hear a horn from outside the village. Not from outside the village, from a watchtower within the village. And you can hear men coming to arms. This was the signal we were waiting for. There's something going on outside the gates.
So I would, as soon as I heard the horn, I'd probably stop prayer, get everything ready, hold the amulet, do one last prayer, more like guys, wish us luck today, and then I'll start heading out. As I walk by, I'd probably bang on their doors. Keep walking, but bang on their doors.
And Dally would grumble, get out. He's just putting his arm through the sleeve. He's got a staff and he's tucking away the dagger. And just shaking off the morning. Like I wasn't already awake from all that.
He doesn't say anything. He just walks by, bangs on the door, and keeps walking.
Yeah. That's just he was mumbling to himself more than anything.
And I think I would I think I would have been off in a corner a little bit, kind of kneeling down, head in prayer, and I would be muttering, "Why have you chosen me for this task? What is it? Why must I face this?" And just kind of saying it out loud to somebody, right? But not anybody in particular. And then I think as the horn, blows, right, and I realize what's coming, I would kind of get up and, I'd have my sword on my belt, and, I'd kind of take my shield off my back, and, I'd put it on, and then I would grab this water skin out. And as I'm walking over maybe towards you, Findeli, you would definitely see my hand shaking a little bit as I'm holding this water skin. I haven't shown much fear, visible fear, up until this point, but now I definitely am. And then I would look to you and I would say, "Well, let us hope the Lord of Light is with us today."
You feel the ground begin to rumble beneath your feet as you say that. Findeli, you've spent the last few days kind of looking over this dagger. Give me another intelligence check, and this time the target number to hit is a 14.
Heck yeah, 16.
Fantastic. Yes, so given all of the information that you've just received, knowing that there's a giant in the actual mix, seeing that there is food on the dagger, you have assumed that this dagger was used by the giant as a toothpick. In fact, you might jokingly refer to it as the giant's toothpick. And you are aware that it's a dagger +1, but it's also +3 versus giants.
Hey,
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah, the ground begins to rumble. The three of you make your way out of the hog hole down to, and you see the man on the on the tower to your left begin to aim the big ballista towards out from the gate. You see three guardsmen up on top of the other guard tower, drawing from their quivers to arm their longbows. And as you look down out, you can see this 14 to 15 foot tall giant person. The book has it pictured as like this very portly giant. Not at all like that. This thing is ripped beyond all imagination. It's just jacked beyond belief. Its shoulders come up. You can barely see its neck. Its jaw is elongated to the point where it seems totally unnatural. Its nose almost comes out like a troll's nose, but then stops short in a square kind of way. And it has this long kind of hair that goes down to its back. And he is just huge. And on his left arm, he has an iron clasp that he has. And connected to that clasp is a large chain that at the bottom of the chain, about a 10 to 11 foot long lengthwise dire wolf is connected to and it has a collar, a large metallic collar on its around its neck. Interestingly enough, also connected to that bracelet that he's wearing is a rope tied tight, and that rope goes back behind the direwolf, and he seems to be dragging what would look like a lifeless human behind him. But that lifeless human also has a large metallic kind of ring that's just kind of on his shoulders, just dragging this what would look like some kind of human corpse. And then, of course, walking beside him is a bugbear wearing a shamanic headdress. I think that's all the pets. There's also three bugbear henchmen that he is traveling with as well. And yep, that's it. That's all of them. And they are approaching. As they get close, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by a toe. How to let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Caleb, roll an attack roll for the ballista. Give it a +5.
Okay, let's mute it. 21.
Okay, sorry about that. Got excited to drop my die. What'd you get?
21.
21. Fantastic. The ballista goes off, and it strikes the giant. Go ahead and roll 2d8 damage for me.
7.
7. All right. It blasts him in the shoulder, and it sticks in there, and he looks down at it. He's like, "Ugh," and he snaps it off, and then he throws it to the ground. He takes his hand, and he holds it out like this, and the bugbear shaman beside him hands him a small glass vial, which he looks at. He smirks. He crushes it, and you see this arcane energy go down his arm and then begin to engulf his body, and his skin becomes shiny and reflective, and he's and you can hear and feel the voice that he emits. The arrows go off, they bounce off his skin. Another ballista shot goes off. It crushes, it hits him in the chest, and the whole arrow just splinters and breaks off of him. What do you three do before we roll initiative? Because you're far enough away to do something before initiative actually kicks in.
Well, I'm fixing to do something dumb and heroic, but I want to hear from you guys first. So
I was gonna say,
I will.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna wait until they're a little closer.
Are they
I
within
wanna cast a
150
buff-
feet?
I want to cast a buff spell, but it doesn't last forever.
Let's see, 150 feet. I'd say you could use a move. You could hop up a little closer and maybe come to maybe they're about 150 feet from the threshold of the city gate. And you could
I like
run
that.
up. And it's not a gate. There's not an actual gate. There's just like a think of a camp, where they've got like the sign like, hey, Basinpeak, that kind of thing. That's all the gate is. So they're about 150 feet
I got
away
you.
from that.
Good. Second question. How close is the bugbear shaman to the giant?
He's right beside him.
Fuck.
Oh, I see. Yes.
I can't kill him.
I think as
Well, that changed my
this
plans.
whole thing is happening, we were on top of the ramparts, right?
You could be. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no. So I'll say I was not. I was down, kind of on the ground level. Is there like a gate or something along those lines that like all shut up and ready for like a siege kind of thing? Or what kind of?
No, there's a group of pikemen, of 6 pikemen.
Okay.
And then behind them a group of probably like 2 or 3 armored out
Okay.
knights.
But there's no like doors or anything obstructing his way into. Okay, so then I think what I would be doing at this point is, my shield would be on my back again, and I would have my I would have that maul like sort of strapped on my back, and you would see I would just be slowly walking like 1 foot in front of the other towards the entrance, towards this giant, and I would sort of slowly like push my way through these pikemen and through the knights and whatever, and I would, as I kind of get out of the gate, I would look up and I would yell as loud as I could at this giant, something along the lines of like, I am the champion of Caius the Lord of Light. I challenge you to single combat. Should I win, you leave this town, this village alone. And should I lose, you will have another sacrifice. What say you, giant?
Okay, so 2 things. The first thing he does is he locks eyes with you as you say this, and he and he looks down beside him, and he sees one of the other. He's got 3 kind of regular bugbear henchmen with him, and he sees one. He picks it up. He bites its head off and spits the head at you. Go ahead and make a death save.
Oh, all right. 17 on the die.
Fantastic. You roll out of the way as this bugbear head comes flying towards you, and it knocks down the guards behind you like a set of bowling pins. They're and they heave back from the force of that head coming at you. And then he takes the body and he sees the ones that are still plinking arrows at him, and he throws. No, actually, he would target the ballista. And I'll make him have an attack roll for that. He nails it. He nails it with the bugbear body, and the whole ballista just shatters and cracks and everything, and is completely destroyed. And the guy that was manning it falls down and lands on the ground in horrible fashion. Roll initiative.
Everyone or
everyone?
Okay.
Yep. We're in.
What I was saying is I was kind of, as this was going on, I was getting a spell ready.
Okay, so Kordak is readying a spell, and then I read that Findeli, you are you're getting a little bit closer as he's doing this.
As air was distracting the big guy.
Okay, yeah, I'll let that go. He locked eyes with him. Okay, there's going to be 2 potential rolls here. First, we'll start with Ire. Make a charisma check to keep him locked in with you.
Okay.
And failing that,
Well, I rolled an 11 plus my charisma mod would make it a 12. So I believe
Findelli,
that's
go
a
ahead
fail.
and roll a dexterity
Oh, you cut out there.
13 or higher.
Sorry, did you say a dexterity roll of
Yeah,
13 or
sorry.
higher?
It said your internet connection is unstable. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Findelli, you're going to be making a stealth check to do this. Failing his charisma check, you're looking for dexterity.
Dexterity.
Oh, Findelli.
That is-
Okay.
12 plus 2, so 14.
Oh, you just got it. You just got it. So you do manage to nimbly get off to the side without drawing attention to yourself. Fantastic.
Nice.
So you are within 50 feet. Kordak, you have ready to spell. Go ahead, everybody, and give me your initiative numbers.
I got a 5.
4.
4.
And I got a 5.
We
You're
don't
adding your
add
dex.
anything to these
Yeah,
rolls,
you
right?
add your dex mod to that.
Oh, then mine's a 6.
Oh, fantastic.
I don't have a dex mod.
That's your own fault.
Ooh.
All right. Lucky I don't need a dex mod.
Yeah, you got all that AC, man.
Yep. Oh, by the way, we all get +1 to our saves, right?
Yes, you do, for being in close proximity to you.
Yeah, I forgot about that because I am lucky and shit.
I don't believe I'm in close proximity to you at the moment.
Okay, Finn, I want you to roll another d6 for me because you tied initiative with the giant.
Really? 5.
You got a 3. You're up first.
Okay, so I'm going to use, once again, ventriloquism, and I want to cast it on the headdress that the shaman is wearing.
Okay.
I really hope he speaks common. His wife spoke common, so maybe. And I'm going to whisper so that it only is the hope being that only the shaman can hear what's being said.
Okay.
My name is Findelli. I am one of the elves. We spoke to your wife. We struck a deal to...
Wife.
I don't think he could talk back to me, but hopefully...
No, I know. This is him reacting.
Good. All right. We struck a deal to weaken and kill the giant. Just step away from him, and we'll take care of it. Just move away. And then we could all fight him. He will be felled this day. And
He seems, by his reaction, to recognize a few words. I'm looking for the chart, the reaction chart. I can't seem to find it. I know it's a 2d6, and I know the lower you roll, the worse the reaction. I just can't seem to find it. So let's do it again. A 6. That's right in the middle. He looks apprehensive and isn't sure what to do. But you know that he's heard you, and you can pretty much tell that he seems to have understood some of your words. You're not 100% sure what took.
okay. That's all I can do. I mean,
Yeah.
I could keep talking to him for 6 rounds, so that's fine.
Great. Next up is the giant, who will he reaches over to the wolf and he says, "Toothy," and he will unchain the collar that the dire wolf was wearing, and say, "Kill." And the dire wolf will charge into combat. I'm going to say that was his action. He'll continue to move, but he's not moving too terribly fast. After that is Ire.
All right, so man, now this wolf is running in, which is too bad. I would say I would still be standing there currently without my weapon in hand, but I would yell again to this giant. I see you are a coward to send your weaklings against us. You will not challenge an elf in single combat. Face me.
Roars at you. Got a big he's got a big tree stump in his, or a tree log basically in his hand, coming towards you.
Yeah, and then I would say, "Call off your dog."
He's not responding to
All right.
anything you're saying.
That's
period.
fine. And I'll reach down
Yep.
and I'll grab this this like the water skin with the thing. I'm just holding it, like waiting for him to get in.
Okay, so you'll hold an action there to wait for him. So
Please don't let the wolf bite me.
yeah, we'll see. I'm not tracking distance precisely, so I'm kind of doing it in zones in my mind.
Yep. No, I was talking more to my companions. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
Next up would be Kordak or the Shaman. So go ahead and roll another d6 for me, Kordak.
I got a 6 on it.
Fantastic. You can go ahead.
All right, is the wolf within 120 feet?
Yes, he is.
Okay, perfect. The next spell is readying. Pretty much the same spell I cast at the beginning. Cause fear, targeted at the wolf.
Okay.
So I guess I'll move up near Ire and I start going, and I gotta put my hand out and you see like some of the dirt on the ground comes up and it forms in like a skull, and the skull kind of just races at the wolf.
All right. He saves as a 4th level fighter. What's the save against?
Versus spells.
Versus spells. He needs a 15 or higher. He gets a 20. Nailed it. The magic washes over it, and it appears entirely unaffected. In fact, it locks eyes with you. However, since you had pre-prepared that action, I will give you not another action to do an attack or anything or another spell, but I will give you a move.
Okay. How far back are the pikemen and the archers from me?
You're not too far. You tell me.
Are they within like 50 feet?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
All right. Then I'll stay right where I am, and I start preparing a different spell.
Okay.
As I see this, I'm like, I see it wash over, and so then I just kind of spit in the ground. I start casting something else.
All right. Then next up is the shaman, who will stay next to. He's just keeping pace with the giant at this point. That's his turn. And then the other 3 bugbears are doing, well, 2 now, are doing the same. So then we're back at the top with Findeli. They are now, it would take you two moves to get within melee range of them. So we'll call it between 60 and 80 feet.
Okay. I was really hoping he would have moved. So what I'm gonna do is,
With your
cast.
interactions with bugbears so far, just make an intelligence check for me.
Sure thing. 14.
They understand simple words, especially if it's common. So if you're going to continue to try to speak to this bugbear, you think maybe you said too much, or like maybe there's something simpler you can say.
That makes sense. I can see myself just like, it's like, shit, said too many things. I could still talk to it since it goes for 6 rounds. I'm just gonna say to it, move away. Wife asked for help.
Help, wife.
Help wife, you move.
Okay. With that, you see he is no longer keeping pace with the giant, so it's not effective for this turn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has slowed his pace down and seems to be distancing himself from the giant.
Good. Would that be my whole action?
No. I'll say that was your move.
Okay. If that's the case, oh shoot, I don't think I'm nearby you yet. So I will cast Protection from Evil on myself,
Good plan.
just in case.
As you're maintaining kind of concentration to speak to this creature, you sacrifice any movement you possibly could have made in this moment to just kind of speak to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you speak a few simple words, you cast this spell upon yourself. You grab your silver dust and you throw that upon yourself to grant some protection. With that, it is in fact the giant's turn, who will now is charging towards Ire. He picks up another bugbear and uses the entire thing as a projectile at Ire. This time, instead of a save, he's going to get his normal attack roll since he's much closer. What's your AC?
What was the shield? Was that a +2?
Yes.
So it's on my back, so 16.
Okay. It was close. I did hit, but since this was not his normal tree stump, I'm gonna have the damage for you. You got lucky. So 3 points of damage. So this, you step out of the way as you see this bugbear body come flying towards you, and you almost manage to get out of the way, but a foot, like a toenail, comes and kind of catches you on the chin.
Awesome.
As his body comes flying past you. And with his move, now he's within one move. He's within 30, 40 feet of we'll just say the group of you.
Mm-hmm.
Ire, you've stepped maybe 5 or 10 feet closer, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not too awfully much. The shaman has lagged behind about 20 feet behind the giant at this point. There's one more bugbear who's keeping pace, hasn't seemed to notice that his other two buddies are gone. Next up is Ire.
And so, kind of, spinning and whirling out of the way of this flying bugbear, it's like, coming at me. This is like a thing out of Nightmare, a bugbear flying at me, thrown by a friggin' giant, this is like the giant version of the halfling toss, but that moment happening, I think I would, as I'm spinning, I would like have uncorked the water skin just to have it ready, and then I would
make the sound.
Whoops, hold on. I can't do it. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, boom, thanks. And sorry, I was caught off guard there. I should have known. Yeah, so anyway, I'll do that, right? And then I'll draw out my sword, and I will say, what will I say? I will say, "You cannot win this fight. The Lord of Light is on our side," and I will speak the word Silver Moon, lighting or igniting this sword or whatever with its light, and then I will start charging at him, if I can. And the goal here, just so you know, Meta, is that I'm gonna just try to get in as close to him as I can and spill this shit on him, because here's the thing, Findelli, I'm not sure your fireball is going to be too effective with whatever his potion is. But maybe I can get out of there because I am a fan of lighting stuff on fire, as you know. So, and I do still have some oil flasks.
Okay. In that case,
so I don't know if I can reach him in one round or not.
No, and actually, so he is going to interrupt, and take another action. I had written down that I'm going to let him interrupt and take actions 2 times in combat. This is his first.
Wow. Okay.
He halts, and he sees you preparing something, or just kind of standing there ready for him, or beginning to run towards him, and he stops. And he looks around, and he looks at his hand, and he grabs the rope with his other hand. He drops his tree trunk, and he grabs that rope with his other hand. And he starts to pull the rope closer to what's on the end of the rope. And it pulls that human body that he's been dragging with him. And he lifts it, and he goes, and he just kind of like throws it kind of like a whip, and slams this body down within 30 feet of you. And it just kind of hits the ground and whatever. And at this range, you can see that it's kind of a very hairy human male. And then you see he barks at the bugbear, not the shaman, but the other one next to him, and he says, "Feed!" And the bugbear will he'll grab a big haunch of meat from a satchel he's got, and he'll throw it out at that body, and it lands right next to him, and maybe he runs up a little bit closer so he knows he won't miss, and he throws it out. That's as much as I'm gonna let happen there. So Ire, as that's happening, what's your reaction to that? Are you going to continue your full move, or are you going to stop and wait and see what happens?
At this point, I have this single-minded focus that I am going to close with this giant and try to splash this stuff on him. So I will continue to go, regardless.
Okay, so you come within about 15 feet now of this body that has just kind of been thrown out in front of you. You're not 100% sure what for. Your back is starting to emanate. You're not sure what's going on. Next is Kordak.
All right. So as this kind of happens, I look a little like shocked, and I may take like one step back. But I finish casting the spell. I hold the amulet, and I do like a little prayer up to Caius, and you see this burst of white light emanate from me, and it washes over pretty much anyone within 50 feet of me. It's the spell Bless. So I just hold up my arm, and this burst of white light just emanates out and washes over, and I'm trying to hit all like the pikemen and archers too. So it's lasts for 6 minutes, +1 to attack rolls, morale rolls, and fear saves.
Fantastic. That's good. Yeah, the guys have not run out to engage yet. They are waiting for. It almost looks like they're waiting for some kind of destruction to the town to start to happen beyond what has already happened with the ballista. They are very apprehensive to engage, whereas you three have seemed to have been quite willing to engage. So they're going to wait and see what happens here. But your blessing washes over them, and they look at each other and they nod like, "Oh yeah."
All right, and then I will. I'll stay where I am at the moment.
Okay. Next is the shaman, and he is going to attempt to sneak away. He fails miserably. The giant kind of notices this, although this is all kind of happening in real time. So it's only after a few moments have passed, after the giant has thrown the body out in front of him, and then notices that the bugbear shaman isn't next to him anymore. And he looks up, and there he is, just kind of inching away from him. And he snarls and gives him this look like, "Mm." And that's the shaman's turn. You are lucky because he had some spells prepared. Next is the wolf, who is going to charge and finish charging at
Kordak, right?
Well, nice try.
Well, wasn't he the one that was messing with him?
Yeah, because after the caused fear, you said it locked eyes on me.
That's right. He is charging Kordak. And he finishes his charge. And he runs up to attempt to bite you. So he finishes his move and will attack. He gets a 13 to hit.
That misses.
All right, you bat it aside. No problems there. The one remaining bugbear, I will take his turn to animate the next sequence here. He kind of shuffles forward and throws this piece of meat, and the camera we see kind of like cuts really quickly in front of the face of this human, this hairy human, and the piece of meat just kind of lands in front of his face, and you see him. He's not really breathing much at all, and then you see his chest rise and fall, and then his eyes burst open, but it's all pupil, and you see the hair on his eyebrows start to grow, and the hair on his forehead start to grow, and he takes his arm and he lifts it up and he grabs the piece of meat, and he looks at it as he's lying down on his side, and he'll stand up. This is basically going to be his entire action. He's not moving, he's not attacking, but and you see the giant smirk. He's like, "Ah," and you see him just kind of pull the rope free from his clasp, and he says, "They took your food." And he turns, facing you guys, probably right in front of Ire, and you see him just stand there, and you feel this pulse come from his body. And you see these large ripples of muscle come down through his body, reach his bicep and his arm, and his hand grows 5 times bigger than it was before, and his other hand grows 5 times bigger than it was before, and his arms, and he turns into this gigantic werebear. And you feel the hammer on your back pulsating at this point, it's begging you to use it. And you almost feel it speaking to you.
Saying,
and,
"I told you."
And that is that bugbear's turn. We're back at the top with Findeli.
I'm torn because I'm not sure if you're gonna attack the werebear next round or not. You better not, because I'm gonna do what I was gonna do. I'm going to move to within 10 feet of the giant, because I want to throw a dagger at him. But my aim is to distract him so that it'll be easier for a certain someone to douse him with that weakening poison or whatever it is. So
Okay.
Let's see how well this goes. All right.
So you had already successfully done a stealth check to kind of sneak around and stay out of his view. So I'm going to let that sustain, and you can go ahead and get close enough to make the attack. We're going to say you are within short range, so you get an additional +1 on the roll. So in total, not including your attack bonus, which I'm not sure what that is, but you're going to get a +4 just from the short range and the dagger.
And the bless.
Oh, a +5 because of the bless. So add your attack bonus on top of that.
So it's my attack bonus plus my dex because I'm throwing. or just my attack bonus?
No, I think it's just your attack bonus.
Yeah, just the attack bonus.
Okay. So I'm rolling at a +8 then.
Fantastic.
All right, so that's 24.
It's a solid hit, and it sinks in. Go ahead and roll that damage. That's going to be a 1d4 plus 3.
Come on. So 6 total.
Good job. Yeah, that sinks in. It lands in his thigh, and it goes way deeper. And he looks down at it. He looks at you, and he says, "Ugh." Yeah, he's not pleased with that at all.
Oh God, come on. And I'm just like, please, Ayer, don't get distracted.
Yeah, if you catch his attention, you have caught it. Next is the giant, who will raise his tree stump and bring it to bear on Findeli, who is right next to him.
Murder me.
Here goes nothing. He gets a 16 to hit. What's your AC?
Oh, shit, the
Magic
15.
user? Yeah.
All right, so he hits you for 11 points of bludgeoning damage as the tree stump comes down and smacks into you.
All right.
Was that like all your hit points? No.
Oh man, I got more hit points than you, I think.
That's not even right. But yeah.
I got.
Yeah, you probably do.
All right, next up is Ire. You see your friend Findeli throw a dagger and catch the giant's attention, and at this point, the giant almost has his back to you.
Okay. So I would at this point would move in. I'm sensing. So I'm having this conflict because, I feel like I want to heed the Lord of Light, right, and shine his light proud with my sword, but I'm also feeling the call of this, what I presume to be the maul, right, on my back, and perhaps our fallen companion, saying, let me do what I was meant to do, even if I have to do it through you. But I will still charge him, and I will attempt to splash him with the water.
Okay, so you'll get a +2 from doing it from behind. You'll get a +1 for doing it for short range, and then go ahead and add your attack bonus.
Okay.
And I'm not going to use this regular AC for this. I mean, this you're like.
And bless.
Oh yeah, and bless.
Okay, so then with that's a +1.
Yeah.
So then that's an 18.
All right, great. His AC actually with the potion of invulnerability is 17, so you hit anyway. So at this point, I can fully disclose what the potion deal is. He was given a potion of invulnerability by this person. His normal armor class is a 15. With that potion in the book, it gives him a +2 AC, so 17. This potion not only negates the effects of the potion of invulnerability, but gives him a -2 AC. So that is now dropping him down to a 13 as the target number to hit the giant, as opposed to a 17. Big difference, especially in basic. So fantastic. You douse him in this stuff, and you see the sheen from his skin disappear. It was almost an acidic type thing that just tore away at the protective potion that was on him.
Yeah, and then I think as I've kind of doused him with that, I'll drop the bag, and I'll drop my sword as well, and I'll reach behind me and pull out this maul, and then just stand there kind of waiting, ready to
as soon
thump
as
him
you
with it.
touch it, a voice appears in your head, and it says, "Smash that motherfucker." And it is the voice of Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have let's see, that was Ire. Next we have Kordak.
All right, so
Wolf is in front of you, frothing.
yes, and how far away is the giant from me?
I'm gonna call it. He's far enough away to require 2 moves to get to him.
Within 30 feet?
Oh, he's definitely within. No. He's within not 30 feet. I'm going to say probably about 50.
It's something that could really help out against the giants. Do I see the pikemen or archers doing anything now?
The archers have abandoned their post on the watchtower for fear of having a bugbear thrown at them, and they are now down by your side launching arrows. And the pikemen are still waiting for damage to come their way.
So if I run again, guys told me to follow the elves.
Yeah, and we ran right up to the guy,
You know
so come on, dwarf.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? I fully believed it. Kai's told me to follow the elves. I see the elves doing this, so I will use my movement to kind of. It's going to get attacked. Walk away from the wolf and get closer to the giants.
Ooh. You're easily able to dodge the claw that comes at you. You spin around as though you expected this attack from this wolf. You like read him really quick, and you juked him, and you went and you made your way. Yep.
All right. So as I finished spinning around, I started talking like very low, like it almost sounds like evil, and you see the sky kind of like darkens a bit, and like you see some like lights flicker in the general area. Once again, you see the dust from the ground kind of go up, and it goes up to the giant, and it goes like in all his orifices. This is Bestow Curse.
Yes. -4 to strength, mother. Yeah.
Yep. And this is save versus spells.
All right. He saves as an 8th level fighter. So let's see.
Oh, jeez.
Spells.
Oh.
Need a 14 or higher. Here it goes. 9. So he fails.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, exactly it. -4 to strength is what I was aiming for.
All right. So
once again, I do this like almost guttural. It's still dwarven, but it sounds very guttural. In the sand, it's just since it passed, he failed to save. It kicks up more like rocks in this point. Just start going into all his orifices. And then as it ends, the sky kind of goes back to the way it was.
all right. You've
That's my big
reduced.
3rd level spell.
So you've reduced his chance to hit from a +8 to a +4, and his damage from a 2d8 to a 1d10.
That was my goal.
Fantastic.
All right.
Yeah, nice. So then, Kordak is done. Shaman, you see him open his palm, and a single magic missile bursts forth from it. And it seems to be arcing towards Ire. And then at the last moment, it turns towards the giant. Findelli, why don't you go ahead and roll that magic missile damage for me, since you are the one that convinced him to change sides here. The damage is 1d6, I believe.
Oh yeah. All right.
Well, I think doesn't it increase based on level? Let me just
but
take a
this
look.
particular shaman is only a 4th level
Oh, okay.
caster.
Well, I rolled
Maybe
a
he
6,
gets two missiles. Hold on. 2 at 4th level, so he gets 2 missiles. So
Yeah.
2 come arcing out.
Nice. So the first one was a 6. The second one is a 2. So 8
All right,
total.
so it's +1 for each. So 7 and 3 is 10 points of damage. These 2 missiles
Yeah.
blast into his back, and you can feel the ripple of betrayal come from Zorvik the giant, as he is quite unhappy with what has happened here. Next up then is the wolf. No, it's not. Next up is the werebear. Yeah, I had forgotten to roll his initiative, but now he's in, so I did, and now he'll go. So he is going to dart towards Ire, who is ready for him, and he takes his first attack with his first claw. Crap, hold on. I didn't write down his plus to hit modifier. Now I gotta look it up.
What level creature, or how many hit dice does he have?
I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't write that down either. Okay, so there we go. It's +6. There we go. He rolls a 22 for his first claw attack.
Yeah, that's a miss. No, just kidding.
Okay. He rolls a 23 for his second claw attack. He rolls a 7 for his bite.
That does miss.
Okay, and the hug. Since he got both claws, he got a 17 on the hug.
Oh. Is that against armor class?
Yes.
Yeah, yep, that hits.
Okay. So the first claw comes scratching across you and hits you for 5 points of damage. The second claw comes scratching across you and hits you for 4 points of damage. The bite comes at you with ferociousness and... Oh no, the bite missed you. Right?
Yep.
Okay. He misses you with the bite, but then as you dodge out of the way, you get grappled by this hug. And that one is for another 7 points of damage.
Nice. Yeah, and I think I would let out a terrible yell as I'm getting rend, and then
As he bites into you, you feel this liquid come from his teeth and infect your veins.
oh, does he bite me with a hug?
Oh no, he doesn't. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
not the hug. Sorry.
All
Damn it,
right.
I got ahead of myself. Okay. That was him. Now it's the wolf who's on Kordak. He gets what's his bonus? He gets a 17 to hit Kordak.
Just hits.
Okay. He will bite you for 6 points of damage.
Oof. So it begins.
And then the final bugbear will attack Findeli because he's right there next to the giant who just got smacked. He rolls a 5 to hit with his scimitar, and that is the end of that round. Next up is Findeli, top of the round.
All right, so narrowly avoiding deftly avoiding that last attack from that bugbear. I'm going to move back as far as possible. One move action if I could.
Yeah, you'll provoke attacks of opportunity from the giant unless you do a defensive withdrawal.
I'd take my whole action, yeah?
Yes.
Nope. Gonna have to chance it.
So
Wanna
you
move
are
back?
still...
Yeah, I'm gonna move back 30 feet.
Okay, so the giant's only a +4 at this
Take
point.
it.
So he
I'll
gets
take that up.
the giant gets a 7 to hit you. He tries to kick you as you back
Nope.
away, and he misses. The bugbear takes a cheap shot, thrusting at you with his scimitar, and he gets a 13 to hit.
Nope, neither one. Thank you, protection from evil.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, you managed to back away.
Fantastic. Okay, so I have a question. Who is nearby the giant?
I mean, I think I'm pretty close to him.
Yeah,
right?
Ayer's pretty close. He's within one move action of him, so he's definitely within 15 to 20 to 25 feet.
Okay. And there's a bugbear that's within 10 feet of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to, because I'm aware of the space it takes up, I want to see if I could plant that circle where it gets, just the bugbear and the giant.
Okay.
But if it's not
What's
possible,
the radius on the blast?
20.
20 feet? Okay, let me think.
20 foot radius. I don't have a map, so I couldn't point to a spot.
You can do it. You cast
yeah.
it as you're looking at the giant. You could cast it a little bit behind him and to his left, and you will
Okay.
catch him and the bugbear and not catch any of your friends.
Yeah, great. I wish I could catch everybody on the field, but that would hurt my friends too much. So they both get save versus spell as Fendela is kind of like grabs his book. It's kind of like going over the spell one more time. He's like, okay, all right. Closes it, puts it back, reaches into his bag, pulls out 2 different colored powders, throws them into the air, and they kind of like make this really crazy intricate design, and it's frozen in place, and then it shrinks down into the size of a bead, and he just kind of like points his finger and it shoots off in that direction. And let's see.
The bugbear made the save.
Oh, yeah.
The giant did not.
I got so many 6s on this.
Nice.
So let's see. That is 12, 24, 28.
Damn.
I know.
Damn. Okay, the bugbear is eviscerated. There's nothing left of him.
Love it.
The impact of the blast, I'm gonna say there's just, you aimed it upwards a little bit and it exploded in the air, so it got him in Zorvik in the chest quite a bit, and it just puts him ablaze. And the impact of it, you hear a snapping in his back. You said you put it right behind him, and just the explosive power of the fireball just, and it snaps his back, and he just falls down, contorted onto 2 knees, and then down, face first down on the ground, dead.
Oh,
the giant went down too. Nice.
Giant's
Yes.
down. Yep, bugbear and the giant are down.
nice.
Yep.
I'm gonna like yell out to all its companions. I'm just like, I did it. And then I'm like, your champion is down. Run for your lives, or join him. Hopefully that does something.
I'm gonna say
Morale save.
the shaman's already on your side, so he's out. The wolf is going to make a morale check. Got a morale of 9. I have to roll under it to stay. He rolls a 2. He is bound and determined. And then the werebear had been starved by the giant, so that giant could control it. So he is in a complete and utter blinded rage, and does not care anything about who's dead, who's alive. All he knows is that you took his food and he wants it, and he hates you. So all that's left are the direwolf and the werebear. Finn's turn is up. Ire is up.
All right. Well, I'm going to attempt to smote this werebear with the maul.
Okay, as you wield the maul, it is it's Jeremy inside there, and he's speaking to you, and you feel the power of it as it's being wielded in combat increase even further. You're going to get a +4 to this attack. It's a +3 maul, +4 against lycanthropes.
Oh, hell yeah. And then is bless still in effect?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Does a 17 hit?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. And then a maul is a D10?
Yep.
All right, plus my strength mod, and then is the +3 also to damage or just to the attack?
The +4 will also
+4.
be to damage.
Okay,
Yep.
so
I think at least that's the way I'm going to rule it right now.
Okay.
Maybe that's not how it is in the actual game, but
well, that's fine with me. So with the +4 to damage, then that would be, let's see, 8 damage.
fantastic. You crash into its side, and it it doesn't react, but you know you did damage. It's kind of creepy actually, because you're like, you smash into it and you know you hurt it, but it doesn't care. It's just it's in a blinded rage. With that, it is indeed the werebear's turn. You had so you had been hugged.
Oh yeah, actually, I don't know if I need to make some kind of.
So narratively speaking, I'm gonna let that hit still happen, but it wasn't. If go ahead and make a strength check.
Okay.
To break the hug.
15, and I think I only need a 14, right?
Yep. So you broke out of the hug. You pushed him back. You wielded the maul, and you smashed him in the side with it. So all a-okay.
Perf.
He, however, does come at you with 2 claws and a bite. First claw is a 12 to hit.
Nope.
So a miss. Second claw is a 22 to hit. And the bite is a 24 to hit. The first claw does 2 points of damage. The bite does 9 points of damage.
And that would put me officially at 0 hit points.
Oh, right at the bite.
Yep.
Okay. So, he bites into you. Finn and Kordak, you see your friend Ire valiantly stepping up against this werebear, and you see him dodge out of the way of the first scratch, but then he gets his shoulder caught with the second one. It steps him back a little bit, and then the werebear takes that opportunity to just pounce on him and bite into his neck, and it tackles him to the ground. The mace goes boom, 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 landing right in front of Kordak. Kordak, your turn.
All right. So my first thing is I start yelling at the pike and archers. I'm like, the giant's down! Attack! Attack! And I want to try. Okay, I guess my end goal is I want to try and get that maul and at least get over and attack the werebear if possible.
Make a dexterity check to run and scoop up the weapon.
Oh, good. 18.
So you run, you do, your little dwarven body does a little roll over top of the maul, and all of a sudden you're running with it in your hands. And you are able to make that attack if you so choose.
Yeah. So yelling at the guys to attack too. All right.
A few arrows make it there just before you do. One hits the ground, the other hits the werebear, dealing 2 points of damage.
Almost on that 20. So I got a 22 attack.
Okay, and your damage is going to be 1d10 plus your strength modifier,
D10
plus 4.
D10 strength. 5 plus 4, so 9 damage.
All right. How do you kill the werebear?
Oh, all right. So as I rolled over, and I guess actually he is pretty dexterous. So I roll and I come up with the maul, and I come up and I do this grand. Now I have to wield it two-handed, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of take it. I know I can't spin it, so I just swing my whole body around. And as I come in, I just grab it both by the end and just this massive, like, wham, right into its side as I finish the spin.
Yeah,
I'll say I aim, just for cinematic, I'll say I aim for the head of it.
Yeah, you crash its skull in, and it leaves a tooth in Ire's neck as it's ripped off of Ire's body and down over dead onto the ground next to him. The body of the werebear transforms back into the human. The wolf was still on you, was it not?
Yes.
It's going to. So I'm going to have to roll that attack of opportunity. I've forgotten about that. He gets a 15 to hit.
Oh, that misses.
Okay. So you run off. That all happens. The wolf chases after you to come and to bite you.
And I kind of want to stand after it happens. I just kind of want to stand defensively in front of Ire's body.
Yeah, he gets a 13 to hit, so he misses with his second bite against you.
He does.
The shaman reaches out his hand and casts another magic missile at the wolf. Vindeli, go ahead and roll that 2d6 damage for me. It'll be 2d6 plus 2 when it's said and done.
7.
7, dire wolf. First damage, it's taken. These 2 magic missiles pelt against its side from the shaman. He has cast his 2 first level spells. And that is the wolf's and the shaman's turn. Top of the round with Findeli. I take that back. The wolf is going to make one more morale check after after everything's said and done here. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, the wolf begins to make he's not completely out of range or anything like that, but he's begun to, after getting pelted with the 2 magic missiles, starts to make a move away from Kordak. Kordak, go ahead and roll an attack of opportunity for me. With the maul, you're going to get a +3, not a +4 this time.
Yeah, I rolled an 18 on the die, so...
Yep, so you're going to get, 1d10 plus your strength +3.
So 6.
6. Okay. Yeah, you catch it in its hindquarters and it yarps, but then continues to run. So now Findeli, top of the
After I
round.
do that, I just kind of spit on the ground as it runs.
Okay, so the wolf looks like it's on its way out. That was the last of the enemies, or?
Yep.
I'm running over to Ayer and see how he's doing.
Well,
Let's see here.
by rules as written, he's dead, but we'll see what.
Yeah, we in combat now?
I think so.
Oh.
You're out of combat. Kordak, the hammer is pulsating, and a voice that you've never heard before emanates from the hammer and speaks to you telepathically. And as you're standing defensively over Ire, it says, well, you have to smash his head in. And that's where we'll call it.
Jesus. Well, you got your wish, Sam.
Awesome. Wow. Well, and with that, that has been Trouble at Basinpeak, Session 2, and the Death of Ire Perwin. So,
Fantastic.
with that, go ahead, make sure that if you haven't already watched the first session, check it out. You will see why this was funny and tragic and all that. And of course, like, subscribe, comment, share the video, do the whole thing, that YouTube stuff, and we'll catch you next time.